Hello friends and welcome to the Orbiter video series of Santosh Memorial Chess Academy. Today we will discuss about Article 4, the act of moving pieces. We had discussed about the movement of chess pieces in our last video as well. So don't get confused yourself with Article 3 and Article 4 because Article 3 covers how the chess pieces move in a chessboard, whereas Article 4 covers about a player who is moving them. It means that we will learn what things a player should keep in mind while moving his pieces over the board in Article 4. This article will also be an important topic from your exam perspective, so I would request you to please create notes for your easier reference for future revisions. We just need to keep 5 points in our mind in order to understand this article. First one is a player always has to use only one hand to play his move. Moving with two hands is strictly not allowed in chess and that will be penalized by Orbiter. Second one is in case if any piece is displaced or fallen from its actual position in the chessboard and you need to adjust it back to its normal place, but you cannot just simply put it right away. There is a correct procedure to it and we will learn in this article. Our third one is the way how a player performs the castling move. Obviously it involves a player getting in contact with two different pieces, king and rook. That's why you need to know the exact procedure of how to do it. The fourth one is pawn promotion, which again involves a player getting in contact with two different pieces, which is why we should know the correct procedure of how to do it, as Article 4.1 suggests that you cannot use your two hands while making a particular move. And last but not the least, the most important topic from your exam point of view, the great touch and move rule. Now let's start to discuss each of them one by one in detail. Article 4.1 says that you must use only one hand to play a particular move. One hand means, let's say if you capture a particular piece, then you need to use only one hand to perform the entire capture move. Okay, we have a case where a player plays one move with his right hand and then plays his another move with his left hand. Would that be a violation of Article 4? So as an Orbiter, what should be your call on this? This is a completely okay thing from a player's part because he has not used his two hands on a one particular move. So in case if two hands are being used for a particular move, then only it is a violation of Article 4, else it is okay. You would be asked questions related to this because we would discuss in coming videos about the tournament as well, where chess clock comes into the picture, and then this article would be of great importance to use only one hand to play or move and simultaneously press the clock as well. Our next article is Article 4.2, that is touch and move rule. It means that if you have touched a piece, then you must move it. Obviously, in case if any piece is displaced or fallen from its actual position, I need to put it back, right? But if I do it without saying anything, this would violate the touch and move rule, that is Article 4.2, and your opponent may ask you to play the move with that piece. So to handle this case, you need to take a permission from your opponent by saying a small word, I adjust or jadoob, before touching a particular piece. There are some more extensions related to touch and move rule that we will discuss here now. The first one is if you have touched multiple pieces of yours, then you need to play the piece that you touched first. The second one is in case if you have touched your opponent piece, then you have to capture it if it is possible over the board. For example, in this position, let's say if white has touched S7 pawn, in this case you can see it that knight can capture it. Even though if we don't want to capture it, but touch and move rule says that knight has to make a move by capturing into h7. So the player has to move n cross h7, and that's why touch and move rule is a very important concept. Now comes Article 4.4, which is an act of how a player can do castling. Article 4.4.1 says that if you have touched your king and then rook as well, then it means your intention is to castle, so you have to castle if it is possible over the board. Next article says that you have to touch your king first while doing castling. In case if you have touched your rook first, then it means that your intention is just to play the rook move and not to castle. So for that, in case if you have touched your rook first, then you cannot castle that side. Our next article, article 4.4.3 is very important from your exam perspective, which says if you have touched your king and castling is not possible in that particular position, then as per touch and move rule, the player has to make a move with his king. In case if you cannot move your king as well, then your act will be considered as first illegal move and player will be penalized by arbiter using article 12. That will be discussed later. Our next article is article 4.6, which talks about the act of how a pawn should be promoted. Obviously, this move also involves a player getting in contact with two different pieces. One is obviously pawn and the other piece is a new piece that is being brought over the board. So for that, you need to have a clear understanding of how a pawn should be promoted and what is the correct procedure to do it. Let's say in this case a player just put his pawn on the 8th rank and left it like that. Obviously this becomes an illegal position over the board, because as we discussed in our article 3 that a pawn can be promoted to any piece except king and the pawn himself. So it means that the pawn has been promoted to a pawn itself, and that's why this position has become illegal now. So for this, let's understand what exactly is the right procedure to do the pawn promotion. We can do it either of the two ways. First one would be just simply you don't have to touch the pawn on the 8th rank and you can put a new piece on the 8th rank, that is the promoting square, and that's all. Or what you can do is you just simply touch your pawn on 8th rank, keep your pawn out of the board, bring a new piece in the promoting square, and that's all. These two concepts have been covered in article 4.6.1 and 4.6.2, which obviously could attract your examiners while preparing their question paper, because these are the areas with a lot of confusions and players tend to make mistakes, and that's why. So these are the promising questions that could be asked. In case if you want to promote on a square which involves a capture as well, then you will first capture the piece, put the pawn aside and bring a new piece over the board, and you will do it all just with your only one hand. You remember that article 4.1 says that you have to do all this mess using only one hand, and that's why you need to make sure that only one hand is being used while doing pawn promotion, castling and all these activities. Let's say in this position, obviously pawn cannot be promoted to g8 square because of knight. Either pawn can wait till knight moves, or he can just simply capture at f8 by playing g cross f8 move and get promoted to a new piece. Please don't forget to like our video and comment in this video to let us know that you have already watched our video and liked it. Thank you guys, and we will come back with article 5 in our next video. Till then, thank you and have a nice day.